Hey guys, Jarek here, and Komodo's back for some more Call of Duty Black Ops 2. This time we're going to be doing some team deathmatch on one of the new DLC maps. This is Detour. The new DLC maps came out, I think, on July 1st or early July sometime. I'm going to be using an AN-94, there's all my attachments and my perks and whatnot. So the new DLC maps, I actually really do like them. The fan favorites seem to be the remake of Summit and Rush, which is kind of like a small, fast-paced paintball park. I pretty much like all the DLC maps. The only one I'm not really a big fan of is the one on the island that I'm forgetting the name of. That's just sniper heaven, and you know how much I hate snipers when it comes to Call of Duty. Or most video games for that matter. I think the only game where I actually like snipers is Red Orchestra 2, because they do that correctly. One sniper per team, and it's an actual sniper. But yeah, let's get on to the questions. So I have a tendency to try to answer questions and then rant for the whole video and never actually answer any of them. So if you have a question you want to ask me, put it down in the comments below. I'll try to answer it in the future. But the question here someone asked me below was, what is your favorite console of all time? Well, there's a lot I could actually say about that. I'm going to actually split this up into 3 different points. First off, my primary gaming platform will always be PC. I've always been into PC gaming, and I have absolutely no reason to buy a lockdown box that can't do it as near as much as a PC can. So unless you force me to buy your stupid box to play exclusives, I'm going to stick to PC. But if we're talking about favorite consoles in the past, I'm going to split this up in between 2 different questions. What's your favorite handheld and what's your favorite console? Because those are kind of hard to compare. Starting with handhelds, I'm definitely going to say the Game Gear. I played the hell out of the Game Gear. That was like one of my childhood things.
But you needed a nuclear reactor to power the damn thing.
I can't tell you how many batteries I went through it, but that was the risk, or the, that was the whole thing with adding in a backlight. It took a lot of batteries, but at least you can fucking see what you're doing.
Very true.
Like, it took Nintendo literally 10 more years to put a backlight into their handhelds. That's how behind they were. That's how behind Nintendo usually is with everything. Which is actually kind of annoying.
It didn't seem like it mattered a whole lot back then.
Back then it mattered a lot to me. The Game Gear came out in 1991, which, funny enough, that was the year I was born. The Game Boy Advance SP, which was the first Nintendo handheld where it had a backlight, came out in 2001. So that's how long it took. But yeah, that one's definitely my favorite. My second favorite is probably the Game Boy Advance, just because there was a hell of a lot of games I played. That's where I played my first Fire Emblem game, and there's just a lot of games on the Game Boy Advance. Like, that had a pretty long lifetime and just a lot of shit put out on it.
It did, and like you can literally just go through the catalogs of the games for it for months.
I still play Game Boy Advance games. I mean, I have Ruby sitting in my DS right now, and Pokemon Pinball kind of sitting next to it, and Fire Emblem 7, which, funny enough, is the first Fire Emblem to make it to America, so that's technically Fire Emblem 1 here. And then there's Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, which is the real Fire Emblem 1. Hello, oblivious person.
So that's your handhelds. What about actual home consoles?
This one is actually really hard for me to answer. If I had to give a really quick answer, I would probably say early on in the PlayStation 2 lifetime, just because there was a ton of games to come out for it, but later on, Xbox One, or the Xbox original, really did start to compete with the PlayStation 2.
Hey, be careful there. Xbox One is the latest console coming out. You might confuse people.
I really don't understand Microsoft. Why the hell did they name it the Xbox One? Did they take 259 steps? Oh, I already messed that up. 359 steps back. There you go. I forgot how to count for a second. But yeah, if we're talking about later on in that lifetime, I'd probably say the Xbox original, just because Xbox Live really helped third-party games and online support. So, yeah, that's a really, really hard thing for me to answer. It really is. I've played, even though I am a PC gamer, and a lot of people will give me the arrogant PC elitist stereotype, which really doesn't make any sense. I've owned every single console that has come out, or at least every single big console that has come out, so it's not being arrogant or elitist, it's just being right. I have the experience to say what is the best and what isn't. And plus, if you're trying to argue that consoles are really better than PC, who are you fooling?
Themselves. Me personally, I would probably have to say, despite the fact that I never owned one, it has to be the Super Nintendo for me. It just had... I feel like it had, like, the most variety of... Well, it really told a lot of stories in their games, like, more so than they do nowadays. I mean,
how to make you incredibly mad by having infuriatingly difficult games to produce longer gameplay?
Hey, that's not true with all games that were made back then. There are a lot.
It's true with a lot of them, though.
Like, there aren't infuriatingly... Actually, no. The games
Nothing compared to the NES.
Games that are hard nowadays are hard because they were made stupidly. Or they were made hard intentionally. Dark Souls.
That game isn't really difficult as much as it is cheap. It's just a lot of trial and error, which is the same way I feel about fucking Ninja Gaiden. Well,
But I like
Ninja
Dark
Gaiden,
Souls.
Ninja Gaiden 2 at least. That one is just trial and error. Ninja Gaiden 1 was just fucking difficult. I mean, it was cheap, but once you really got Ninja Gaiden 1 down, you felt freaking unstoppable.
I wouldn't know. I've never actually finished a Ninja Gaiden game.
Well, I finished Ninja Gaiden 2. I never beat the first one because it's fucking impossible to beat. And this,
Wow,
just
straight
phased
through the
the wall.
support.
That wall didn't exist. Got the guy inside of the house too. Thought you were safe in there. No, you're not. So I went 32-2, pretty decent game. Not my best game. I think my best game is 42-2. Not entirely sure, but there's more Black Ops 2. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you later.